Okay, hello everyone. We're going to get started on our KAUST presentation on the CV and letters of recommendation. Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Tisha and I'm here with my colleague Nada. We are going to be giving some tips on the CV, what should include and what not to include, and then also letters of recommendation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, you can write them in the chat box to us and we will answer them as we see them. Or if you want to wait until the end of the presentation, you can go ahead and ask us questions then. So let's get started. Okay, so quickly, for those of you who've joined us, I know you've heard a bit about KAUST, but for those of you who are new, this is just our KAUST vision. So we aspire to be a destination for scientific and technological education and research. We inspire discoveries to address global challenges, to serve as a beacon of knowledge, and to bridge people and cultures for the betterment of humanity. To learn more about KAUST, we do encourage you to visit the KAUST website, where you can learn about the community, you can learn about faculty who are currently teaching here, and the research projects that are taking place. So again, visit the KAUST website. This is our agenda for this evening. So we'll go over the deadlines, application requirements quickly. We'll review them. The admission stages that we have here at KAUST. Then we'll talk about tips for CV, letters of recommendation. Who do you ask? What should be included? Quick tips, and then a wrap up. Now, before we go over the application requirements, just a quick reminder that our deadline is November 15th. So it is quickly approaching, but you still have time to gather the documents that are listed on the screen and submit them before the application deadline. So you would need your official university transcripts. They need to be in English and verified by the university. The CV, which we'll go over more tonight. The statement of purpose. We did have a webinar this Monday, November 11th, on the statement of purpose and what you should be including in that document. However, if you have more questions, you can ask us now at the end, or you can always call us or email us and ask questions about the statement of purpose. 3 letters of recommendation. We're going to go over letters of recommendation this evening, who you should be asking, and what they should entail. And then the TOEFL or IELTS scores. Now, if you have attended a university where the main language of instruction was English, then you'll be exempt from this test. However, there is a note here that an English language exam will be needed to make the final admission decision. And then the last thing that's listed is the GRE. You'll see that it says optional, and it is. It is not required. We recommend that if you took the GRE and you did really well, or you feel you did well, then yes, go ahead and submit it. However, if you took the GRE and your score was not what you would like it to be, then do not submit the GRE, because every document that you submit at KAUST will be taken into consideration by the admission committee. So you, of course, only want to show your best self in your application, and if your GRE is a low score, then again, we recommend you do not submit it.
السلام عليكم جميعا، ان شاء الله الكل يكون سامعنا كويس. اليوم بدنا نتحدث اكثر عن موضوع السي في وكيف نكتب السي في، الاشياء اللي نكتبها والاشياء اللي ما نكتبها في السيره الذاتيه. بالنسبه اول شيء خلينا نتحدث عن الريكوايرد دوكيومنتس المطلوبه منكم حتى يعني تو ابلاي تو كاوست. اول شيء بدنا الترانسكريبت يكون باللغه الانجليزيه، والسيره الذاتيه طبعا كل الاوراق اللي عم نحكيها الان لازم تقدم في اللغه الانجليزيه. السيره الذاتيه الغرض من الدراسه 3 توصيات برضه رح نحكي عنها ونشوف من مين لازم ناخذ توصيه ومن مين لازم نحصل التوصيات. بالاضافه الى درجه الانجليزي اللي هي لازم تكون يعني توفل 79 والايلتس 6. بس طبعا هدول بدي احكي لكم انه هي مش اجباري للطلبه السعوديين، هي في كمرحله للتقديم ممكن لاحقا نطلب منكم، لكن كتقديم للمره كبدايه للتقديم ما في داعي للغه الانجليزيه. والجي ار اي طبعا هو اختياري وليس اجباري.
Okay, and this is just a quick overview of our admission process here at KAUST. So before we begin going over this, this is just the best case scenario for our students. So not every student will take this same path that's outlined here on this chart. So we start with the application where you can go ahead and of course apply to KAUST and turn in all of the application requirements that are listed. And then you want to submit the completed application, which again, you would be submitting all of the documents we just reviewed. And then once everything's submitted, the faculty will review your application. Upon reviewing your application, if approved, then you will be invited for the first round of interviews. So there are 3 interviews that you can take part in, and strong candidates will be invited. The first is the academic interview, and then we have the Skype interview, and then face-to-face. So after each interview round, you will be contacted by admissions and they will let you know whether or not they would like to invite you to the second or third interview. If you pass all 3 rounds of interviews, then your application is admitted and an offer is sent to you. Again, I want to remind you that this is the best case scenario. So this might not happen for everyone. So it's important that you turn in your application documents on time and then you really watch your email for the status updates.
بالنسبة للمخطط اللي احنا بنمشي عليه خلال عملية التقديم للجامعة، أول شيء طبعا الواحد بيقدم على الجامعة من الموقع الإلكتروني. لما تعمل سبميت للدوكيمنت تبعونك بيكون كلهم جاهزين، حيصير في عليه مراجعة من قبل اللجنة أو الهيئة التدريسية. إذا كان اللجنة أو الهيئة التدريسية موافقة على الابلكيشن تبعك، حينتقل لمراحل الانترفيو عندنا 3 أنواع. مش معناته كل طالب يتقدم للجامعة لازم يعمل انترفيو. كان إنه إذا توافق عليه من قبل اللجنة حيعمل المقابلات. أول مقابلة حتكون المقابلة الأكاديمية وهي أهم مقابلة بيعملها الطالب. ثاني مقابلة هي المقابلة البيرسونال اللي هي بتكون مقابلة عادية أو شخصية، طبعا كلهم البيرسونال والأكاديميك عن طريق سكايب. وآخر مقابلة اللي هي الفيس تو فيس، بيجيبوك على الجامعة بتختبر، وبالإضافة إلى المقابلة اللي هي برضه كمان حتكون شخصية. بالأخير طبعا حيصير في قبول ويبعثوا لكم الأوفر على الإيميل.
Okay, now what everyone has been waiting for, the CV. If you are just joining us, welcome. We will be reviewing the CV tonight and letters of recommendation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please note that you can type them in the chat box, or you can wait until the end of the presentation and we'll go ahead and answer them then. So for the CV, first off, the CV is not a resume, so be mindful of that. And these are just some of the key elements that you want to include in a CV. First 2 to 3 pages, depending on how long you have been active in your area of study. Now, of course, if you are applying to a master's program, you might not have as long of a CV because you're just beginning in your educational career. However, if you're applying for the PhD program, you might have a bit more experience. So you might have some papers that you've published, multiple research projects you've taken part in. So yours might be a bit longer. And also you want to make sure that on your CV, you're including your name, current contact information, education, skills, and experience. You should list these in an order of name, then the contact information, education, experience, and then skills at the end. You don't need to repeat things in every category, so also be mindful of that. And by experience, we mean research, publications, grants, fellowships, professional associations, and licenses. So again, we understand, and so does the faculty who are reviewing your CV, that if you are applying to a master's, your CV might not be as lengthy. You might not have as many experiences. However, if you're a PhD student, yours might be a bit longer due to the amount of time you've spent in this academic area.
طبعا بالنسبة للسيرة الذاتية، أول شيء لازم طبعا ما تتجاوز أكثر من 3 صفحات. إحنا بالعادة دائما بنطلب من الطالب اللي بيكون دوبه بخلص بكالوريوس وحيقدم للماستر ما تتجاوز السيرة الذاتية تبعته عن الصفحة أو الصفحتين ماكسيموم. طبعا لازم أول شيء تبلش بالترتيب التالي، طبعا الاسم، بعدين في عندنا اللي هي النقاط أو الأشياء اللي ممكن نتواصل فيها معاكم، رقم التليفون، الإيميل، التعليم، الشهادات التعليميه اللي اخذتوها، بالاضافه للمهارات واي خبرات انتم عملتوها. طبعا الخبرات اللي بنحكي عنها هون مش ضروري تكون خبرات عمل، ولكن تكون خبرات لها علاقه بالريسيرش او الابحاث اللي انتم عملتوها، او اي مثلا شهادات خارجيه انتم حصلتوا عليها، او مثلا شهادات تقديريه حصلتوا عليها. لا تكرروا مواضيع الاشياء اللي بتكتبوها دائما داخل السيره الذاتيه حاولوا انكم تجزئوا الكلام وتحطوه في الاماكن الصحيحه.
Okay, and then the CV. So the format is really important. We want to make sure that you carry the same format throughout your entire document. And so when looking at your CV, if you're joining us and you have your CV in front of you now, this is a great time to take notes. However, if you haven't started your CV, these are things that you do want to be mindful of as you start to create your CV. So you want to have your contact information. When you're going over contact information at the top of your CV, you should have your name, your email, and phone number. That is all we need when we're talking about contact information. After that, we should go down to the education section. It should start with the most recent education. So if you are currently taking a master's, you should list your master's, what the subject is in, the university and the location, and then the dates of when you attended school for your master's program. After your master's, you should list your bachelor's. So again, you want to list most relevant and then go backwards. After the education, you want to write down all of your employment history. So you want to list employment history that is relevant to what you're applying for, the program you're applying for. If you do not have any employment history, that's fine, because you can also list fellowships and grants, and you can also list experience as well in place of employment, right? So experience, again, refers to research, publications, grants, fellowships, professional associations, and licenses. If you're a bachelor student and you're thinking, I have not written a publication, I have not done a lot of research, that's okay. Again, you are a bachelor student. We understand that you are new to the field. So we recommend that maybe you put in your senior thesis project, or your senior research project. What are you working on now at the end of the 4 years? What have you worked up to? Is there a lab that you've worked on? Is there a professor you've worked with in terms of research? You want to list all of those. And then at the end, if you have publications, you're going to want to list any publications you have, as well as skills. When we talk about skills, it's really important to be mindful that we do not need stars. We do not need bar graphs. We do not need anything other than the skills listed that you feel you have. So for example, if you have good communication skills, you need to grade yourself, not with stars and not with lines that are different levels. No, instead it should say, I have intermediate communication skills. I have great communication skills. In your skills section, you want to list adjectives, things that describe the type of skills you have. So that is something to be mindful of as you're working on the format. And also in the format, we want to make sure that we're not putting any photos. We do not need photos of you. We do not need to know if you're married or single. We do not need to know where you live. We just need to know your name, your email, and your phone number. That is all we need for contact information.
بالنسبة للمعلومات اللي ممكن نستخدمها في خلال يعني كتابتنا للسيرة الذاتية، أول شيء ممكن الفورمات تكون انه انت تبلش بالكونتاكت انفورميشن زي ما حكت زميلتي، ما في داعي نذكر تفاصيل بيرسونال عن الكونتاكت انفورميشن تبعتنا، العلاقه او يعني اذا انت كنت متزوج او لا، اذا وين انت ساكن، ايش هواياتك، هذه الشغلات ما بهمنا انه يكون موجوده بالسي في. برضه الاديوكيشن، ايش الشهادات اللي حصلت عليها، اذا كان بكالوريوس تحط من وين، ونبدا دائما من الاقدم الى الاحدث. برضه إذا كنت متوظف بأي مكان واشتغلت في أي لابس معينة أو أي شركات ممكن برضه نحطها تحت الامبلويمنت. أي شهادات تعليمية أو خلينا نحكي منح دراسية حصلت عليها خلال دراستك في الجامعة برضه لازم نحطها، بالإضافة إلى أي مشاريع أو ريسيرش أنت عملتها وخبرات عملية وغير عملية تتعلق بالأكاديميك فيلد لازم نحطها برضه في السيرة الذاتية.
Okay, so for CVs, the do's of CVs, what should you be using when writing a CV? Do use bullet points to list your information. For those of you asking, what is a bullet point? It is these dots that are listed here in our PowerPoint. Those are bullet points. We use these because we want simple sentences like the ones we've used here in our bullet points. For your CV, you do not need to list paragraphs of information under every section. It should be quick to the point statements using bullet points and sentences. So again, make sure you're using bullet points. And they don't need to be fancy. They can be dots similar to the ones we're using here. We don't need stars or check marks or swirl circles. We don't need anything like that. Do tailor the CV to the degree program you're applying to. So again, when you're listing your experience, when you're listing your employment, make sure that it has to do with the area or the degree program you're applying to. Also, do list all research projects, achievements, and professional projects in chronological order. So again, we want to start with the most recent and then work your way back. Sometimes it's important or a smart idea to list everything out on a piece of paper that you've done and then place it in chronological order and cross it out as you go along. So that way you kind of keep your own timeline, because sometimes we might forget projects or assignments that we've completed in the past. Do include workshops, conferences, and professional activities where actively engaged. This is really important, but as you list the workshops and conferences, make sure that you're listing whether you've spoken at the workshop, if you've hosted one, if you've given some type of demonstration. These are all really important to list as one of the bullet points after you list a project. What we don't need to see is the itinerary to the conference or an invitation to the workshop. We believe you. If you're listing it, we're going to believe you, but you don't need to add additional materials. Also, do identify outcomes, meaning the practical application of responsibilities during professional employment and or student projects. By this, we mean that if you list that you're working on a research project or you're working on your senior project or your senior thesis, that's fine, but make sure that under that, you're also listing what the outcome is or what the expected outcome is, okay? Or what it was if it's already in the past, because the faculty who are reviewing your CV, yes, they're interested in knowing what you're doing or what you have accomplished in the past, but they also want to know what was the outcome, right? As researchers, as scientists, they're also interested in what the final outcome was, whether positive or negative, and they want you to list that as part of the outcomes in the practical applications.
الاشياء اللي لازم نحطها في السيره الذاتيه طبعا انه احنا نبلش، اتوقع كانت النقاط واضحه، انه نستخدم البوليتس بوينت. البوليتس بوينت معناتها انه نذكرهم زي نقاط يعني في السيره الذاتيه، بالاضافه الى انه نحط كل الريسيرش بروجكت اللي احنا حصلناها مع الاهداف، مع اي مشاريع مهنيه لها علاقه بالتخصص تبعنا من الاقدم الى الاحدث. بالاضافه الى اذا انتم دخلتوا على كونفرنس، ورك شوب، اي مثلا اكتيفيتيز انتم حضرتوها لها علاقه بالتخصص اللي انتم حضرتوه اللي انتم عم تاخذوه، برضه نركز عليها ونحطها في السي في. ما نحاول نكتر كلام عن الموضوع، عن الاشياء اللي ما لها علاقه بالتخصص تبعنا. مثلا لنفرض واحد قدم على تخصص احياء وراح ماخذ دوره عن مثلا الاتش ار، ما له داعي علاقه انه نحطها بالسيره الذاتيه ونذكرها او ونحط عليها مثلا هايلايت، انه يعني نسلط الضوء عليها. نخليها لها علاقه بالاشياء الاكاديميه بس.
Okay, and then just a few don'ts. So as you're writing your CV and creating this document, things that you do not want to put in your CV. So again, if you have your CV out in front of you right now, or you're about to create a CV, it's important that as you are going through this document that you make sure you do not have the below listed bullet points. So don't go into a long explanation of your research projects. Again, we want short paragraph or short sentences, just like the ones listed here. So like up here, you would want to list what the research project was, and then you'd want to use several bullet points to quickly explain what the research project was, what your responsibilities were, and what the outcome was. We don't need a large paragraph. You also don't want to use personal pronouns, meaning I, myself, my. If you have any of these listed in your CV, then go ahead and take those out. Rework the sentence so that it does not list my, I, myself, any personal pronouns, especially if you have an objective at the top of your CV. It's not needed, but if you feel like I want to have an objective listed at the top of my CV, then you're going to want to keep it to 1 or 2 sentences, and it should not have any personal pronouns in there. The third thing is don't list anything that will reflect poorly on you. So again, we want to keep everything positive because we're trying to highlight you. We want the faculty to review your CV and think, wow, this person's amazing. We want them at KAUST with us. So you need to be positive. This does not mean to lie. This just means put it in a positive light. For example, if you are working or you are studying at a university where maybe the lab equipment is not the best, you would, instead of saying, I have poor lab equipment, I was not able to do X, Y, and Z, you would say, with the lab equipment given or with the lab equipment available, I was able to accomplish, and then list what you were able to accomplish. So again, we want to put everything in a positive light when submitting things for our application. Okay, CV checklist. So this is really important. If you have finished your CV, then you're going to want to use this. You don't need to take a photo of it. You can always email us at the si-admissions@kaust.edu.sa email address, and we can send you a checklist that we have that's very similar to the one on the screen. But these are things that you want to make sure that your document has. So you want to, again, have the same font and font size throughout. You want to make sure that at the top you have your name, current email, and current phone number. These are really important because we are going to use these to contact you. And if you list an email or a phone number that is not working, then you won't receive anything from us. So again, make sure it's a current email. Also make sure it's an appropriate email. So an appropriate email that also allows us to send you links and pictures and the videos from KAUST, and that it doesn't go into your spam. So make sure that you're using a correct current email. And then document does not need to list any unnecessary information. So again, go through your CV and make sure that you do not have a picture of yourself. Make sure that you do not have where you live, if you're single or married. Do not use stars or bars to show how great your skill sets are. Make sure that you're not using big paragraphs. These are all things that we do not need, which is unnecessary information. Once you have your CV and you feel like, okay, this looks great, I'm going to submit it, we encourage you to pause and go to a colleague or current faculty and ask them to review your CV for errors, because sometimes we look at a document so much that we think that it looks great and we need a second pair of eyes. Then punctuation, spelling. You need to make sure that your spelling is correct. Use spell check. Again, ask a colleague or current faculty to go over the document and to look for spelling errors. That's really important because you're going to have professionals, you're going to have professors and faculty reading this, and you want to make sure it's correct. And then also make sure you use past and present tense properly when listing your points. So if make sure that it's in the present tense or past tense, depending on what you're stating, and that you're using those in the correct way.
بالنسبة للتشيك ليست اللي عم نحكي عنها الآن، إذا بتحبوا تاخذوا ملاحظات أو اللي عنده أي استفسار أو حابب يعدل على السيرة الذاتية تبعته، أو حاسس إنه السيرة الذاتية اللي كان مقدمها وكانت ضعيفة وحابب يعدل عليها، يا ريت يبعث لنا إيميل على الإيميل اللي حنحكيه في آخر المحاضرة عشان نبعث له تشيك ليست على الإيميل زي دوكيمنت حيساعده إنه ياخذ يعني أفكار أو أشياء اللي تساعده في كتابة السيرة الذاتية. هذا كثير حيساعدكم بعمل السيرة الذاتية بالشكل المطلوب. أي ألوان، أي صور، أي أشياء معلومات ما إلها علاقة بالميجر تبعنا، ما إلها علاقة بالأكاديميك باك جراوند تبعتنا، ما في داعي نحطها. زي ما حكينا برضه لازم تكون السيرة الذاتية جاهزة وكاملة بدون أخطاء إملائية وبدون أخطاء لغوية. فيا ريت إذا كتبنا السي في وجهزناها نعرضها على واحد من الفاكولتي تبعنا اللي نحكي له معلش شيك علينا. برضه في مواقع كثير ترى على الانترنت او باي جوجل ممكن تدوروا عليها اللي ممكن هي تعدل لكم النص او تصحح لكم اياه من الاخطاء الاملائيه او اللغويه، او مثلا اذا في فاصله نقطه علامه استفهام، هذه ممكن كلها تعدل لكم اياها وتحصلوها عن طريق الانترنت، او انكم تسالوا واحد من الفاكولتي تبعكم بس.
Okay, Next, we're moving on to letters of recommendation. So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. If you missed the CV presentation that we just completed, please send your questions to our chat box and we will answer them as we continue on, or you can wait until the end of the presentation and we'll answer them as well. But letters of recommendation. So this can be a really intimidating task, and we recommend that you start this at the very beginning of the application process because it will, of course, take time to see who you want to ask, then, of course, send them an email, and then input their information into your application, and then for them to write that letter for you. So it does take some time. Be mindful of that and start that as one of the top things that you begin when working towards your application. And then who do you ask? We want to try to ask people that have been a professor or lecturer of ours, a college counselor, a senior project supervisor, a thesis supervisor, or a club supervisor. So we want to ask someone who can highlight our best qualities, our best traits when it comes to our education and what we've achieved. So they've seen you working in the lab, they've seen you working in the classroom, and they see your growth in academics. You want to make sure that you're not asking parents or siblings or friends or peers because, yes, they might say wonderful things about you, but they won't be able to speak on your behalf in terms of your skill sets that you have in research facilities in the classroom. If you want to ask a current employer, that's fine, but make sure that they're highlighting, again, your skill level, how you've grown in your skill levels, because that's what we're looking for. This is just another document that helps shine light on you and your best qualities. So that way the faculty who are reviewing your application get to know you a bit better, but through the eyes of someone else.
بالنسبة للتوصيات، الكل عم يسأل عن التوصيات. التوصيات يا جماعة لازم تكون أكاديمية. إذا كان يعني من وين ممكن نحصل على التوصية؟ التوصية ممكن نحصل عليها من شخص درسنا، من شخص أعطانا مادة، من شخص إحنا علاقتنا فيه كثير كويسة وأخذنا عنده مواد، أو كان الأدفايزر تبعي ممكن يكتب لي التوصية، من شخص كان مثلا المرشد تبعي، من شخص كان مرشد أو أدفايزر لإلي خلال مثلا مرحلة المناقشة أو لمشروع معين، أو مثلا كنت أنا مشارك بكلب معين أو شيء يكون هو مثلا الليد تبعي. طبعا التوصيات شيء اكيد طبيعي ما تكون يعني واحد ما حصل توصيه من امه وابوه، وبرضه التوصيات لازم تكون اكاديميه زي ما حكينا، تكون لها علاقه بالمواد اللي انا درستها. والتوصيات نوعين هلا حنحكي عنها لاحقا، ممكن نحصلها عن طريق الاونلاين او ممكن نحصلها عن طريق التوصيات الورقيه اللي بتكون جاهزه، ممكن تبعثوا لنا اياها على الايميل. لاحقا الان حنجاوب على كل اسئله.
Okay, and then letters of recommendation. So sometimes the people writing your letters, they might already know what they should be incorporating. But content-wise, we like to suggest that your recommenders know that they should be including these items. So again, skill sets, that's so important. Let them know that, can you mention how well I'm doing in the lab? Am I really great in this area of research? Have I grown in this area of academics in the classroom? So those are things that they can mention. Also, your strengths. What are you great at? Teamwork, communication, organization. Strengths that will help you and show that you can adapt easily to new environments. Dependability. Do you show up on time? Are you reliable? That's really important as well, especially moving forward, knowing that you're going to work in a lab with others and in the classroom. And then contributions to your campus and community, because at KAUST, we're not only a university, but we are a community where everyone lives on campus together. And so what can you contribute? Have you started a program? Do you, volunteer? Are you working with, others in your class or in your cohort to help them? What have you done during your time on campus and even in your community? And then overall accomplishments. Again, a professor could mention a publication they're working on with you, or research that they're currently focusing on with you, and what you've accomplished together, or what they have witnessed you accomplish on your own. So these are all things that if they ask you, what would you like included? These are some of the items you should mention. Then letter of recommendation format. Again, sometimes recommenders will already have a format, but if they ask you if there's a specific way, you might want to recommend that they use this one that we've given here, which is an introduction, some content on what type of student you are and what they witnessed as you as a student. And again, going back to what we just listed before, your strengths, your dependability, the contributions you provided in your campus and your community, and then a closing. And usually they can list their contact information if needed. When going towards letters of recommendation, these are just a few helpful tips. So a lot of times we might reach out to our recommenders once and say, can you please write this letter? And they'll say yes. And then we don't hear from them for a while. So it's important that maybe you email them every few weeks. And if you haven't heard back from them, ask them, I'm just checking in. I want to see if you would still be able to write me this letter of recommendation. Please let me know. Applications are due, and then let them know the timeline. For some reason, if the recommender says, you know what, I will not be able to write you this letter of recommendation, that's okay. Make sure you have backups. So always have one or two extra recommenders in mind in case something like this does happen. Now, if you find out that a recommender is not able to write you a letter anymore, go ahead and email us and let us know, and we can help you change out the information or give you advice on what to do next. And then, of course, after you receive this letter, you want to make sure that you follow up with a thank you. This is so important. Not a text message, not a WhatsApp message, but a nice thank you to let them know that you appreciate their support through your application. So that is really important to remember at the end of all of this because it does take them time to sit down and write you a letter.
بالنسبة للتوصيات زي ما حكينا لازم طبعا تكون التوصية عبارة عن مقدمة، بعدين الكونتنت او اللي هو ايش حيكون جواتها، ايش الوصف اللي انا بدي اوصف الفاكولتي يوصفه لك، وبعدين برضه يكون في عندي اللي هي بيحكوا لها الخاتمة. الاشياء اللي ممكن تساعدنا طبعا التوصيات يا جماعة نوعين. الناس في مثلا ناس انها بدها ما بتعرف درس مثلا برا البلد وما بتعرف او ما لها علاقه او تواصل مع اي دكتور درسها مثلا في الجامعه لكن عندها الايميل تبعه، فممكن هي تدخل على الابلكيشن تحط المعلومات تبعته وتخلي الاونلاين ستاتس تخليه يس عشان توصلنا طبعا السيستم يبعث له ايميل وتوصلنا التوصيه اونلاين عن طريق الموقع. في ناس مثلا محصلين التوصيات ورقيه فما عندهم مجال بالابلكيشن انهم يحملوا هذه التوصيات عادي. انت حطي البيانات تبعت الشخص الموصف في الابلكيشن عشان تقدري تعملي سبميت، خلي الاونلاين ستاتس نو وابعثوا لنا التوصيه على الايميل اللي حنذكره الان في نهايه المحاضره. ضروري جدا نتواصل مع الاشخاص اللي بنحط اسمائهم في الابلكيشن، اذا كانت لسه مش موجوده نرجع نبعث لهم زي تذكير او ريمايندر بسيط انه بليز اذا انت لسه مهتم او لسه بدك تعمل لي توصيه تبعث لي اياها على الايميل او ترد على الايميل اللي وصلك من الجامعه. اذا كان الشخص مش موجود او ما بيقدر انه يحط التوصيه ممكن انه نغير معلومات الشخص الموصي عن طريق برضه الايميل. اي اشياء بدنا نعدل فيها بالابلكيشن بعد ما نعمل سبميت انها تكون عن طريق الايميل اس على الايميل اللي حنحطه هلا كمان شوي.
Okay, and then before we start answering questions and answers, just some quick tips. So again, going back to the letters of recommendation, if by chance you do have the letters of recommendation with you and they are hard copies, you can always email them to us at the SI admissions address and we will upload them to your application. So that's important to remember. Also, if you think that your recommender has already written a letter for you, make sure that you check in with us because a lot of times students will say, no, I have letters in my application, and they don't. So it's always important that you're checking in with us and saying, can you please give me an update on my application? Is there anything else I need? Because we would not like for the deadline to pass and then your application is not completed because you have something missing like the letter of recommendation or a CV. And some other quick tips, and we mentioned this earlier, is that make sure that you're using an email address that we can reach you at. So something that will not go into your spam box easily if we were to send you email with links provided or video or photos, because sometimes we like to add content to share with our students so they get a little bit better sense of what KAUST is like, whether it's the research facilities here on campus, a testimonial from a current student, or a tour of the research center. So make sure that you're using an email address that we can reach you. And if you receive an email from someone at KAUST, whether it's admissions, faculty, or us here at SGRD, that you respond quickly. I know many of you are busy with school and work and family, but it's so important that if you receive a message, an email from KAUST, that you answer it quickly, because it is going to be an important message. And then the application deadline, November 15th. Yes, I know on the website it says January 15th as well, but we are strongly encouraging you to apply by November 15th, because the sooner you apply, the quicker you will receive a response. We don't have an exact deadline of when you will receive a response, but January 15th is when we tend to get most of our applications. So it will take a lot longer for you to receive an answer. And it's important to remember this. If you are applying to multiple universities and you're waiting to get all of your replies back, that if the sooner you apply to KAUST and you turn in all of those application documents that we spoke about at the very beginning of this presentation, then you'll be able to receive an answer a lot sooner, which hopefully will help you in deciding if you would like to attend KAUST in the next academic year. So those are our tips. If you haven't started your application yet, that's okay. You have plenty of time. You don't have to submit it on the deadline. Once it's complete, submit it. Don't wait for the deadlines. But if you haven't yet, this is an important tab to go to on our website. You want to apply to KAUST to begin your application. And if you have any questions, if you are not sure if you have all of your documents submitted, if you're not sure if your statement of purpose or CV look a certain way and you want someone to check them, please email us at this email address. We are happy to help you. That's what we are here for. And we really encourage you to apply by the November 15th deadline, but we also understand if you are unsure of some of your documents. So that is why it's important to send us an email. We can call you, we can go over them with you, and we can give you the best advice on how to move forward. Also, the website is very important as well to get to know KAUST a bit better, and it'll also help you in writing your documents because it'll give you a better idea of what the advisory committee is looking for.
طبعا الآن رح ننهي أو نحاول نجاوب على الأسئلة اللي عندكم. أي جواب، أي أسئلة بتخص المحاضرة اليوم؟ في ناس مثلا إجت متأخر على المحاضرة حضرتها، راحت عليها كم سلايد أو ما حصلت أي معلومات، بليز ابعتوا لنا إيميل عشان نقدر نساعدكم. أي حدا بيحب إنه يبعت لنا إيميل ونبعت له مثلا السي في تشيك ليست اللي موجودة عندنا، تساعده في كتابة السي في تبعته لو هو لسه مش عاملها، إحنا أكيد رح نكون مبسوطين إن نبعت لكم إياها ونساعدكم في كتابة السيرة الذاتية بالشكل الأفضل. الديدلاين يا جماعه نوفمبر 15، نحاول نعمل سبميت للابلكيشن قبل نوفمبر 15. انا عارف انه في معظم منكم بيعرف انه في عندنا ديدلاين ثاني، لكن كل ما قدمت ابكر، كل ما سمعت عن الابلكيشن تبعك ابكر، وكل ما حصلت فرصه في المقاعد زي ما نحكي في الجامعه بشكل احسن. طبعا الناس اللي بتقدم متاخر او لبعد لحتى تستنى لحد اللي هو الديدلاين الثاني، اكيد ما راح تحصل فرصه زي الناس اللي قدمت من نوفمبر 15. بالنسبه للاسئله تبعتكم حنبلش فيها الان. اي ايميل طبعا زي ما حكينا لكم si-admissions@kaust.edu.sa. ساعات العمل اللي بيحب يتصل بالتليفون ويحكي معنا هي من الساعه 8 ل 5 من الاحد للخميس. برضه الويب سايت تبعنا موجود فيه كل المعلومات اللي انتم بتحتاجوها بالنسبه للفاكولتي، بالنسبه للتخصصات، اي شيء بدكم اياه موجود هناك، واحنا برضه حنكون موجودين حنساعدكم. Let us have answer some questions that we have here.
If you have any questions, please begin to type them in one of the chat boxes and we'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, so in the application it says resume, CV. Does this mean it's fine to send CV or a resume?
You really want to send the CV. So the CV is probably better than a resume because you're already kind of giving a resume in your statement of purpose. And CV is what you tend to want to give when you are applying to grad school. Resume is what you want to turn in when you are applying for a job.
اوكي بالنسبة عبد الله الشهري عم يسأل ايش الفرق بين البروبوزل what's the difference between the proposal and the statement of purpose. So ال statement of purpose هي الغرض من الدراسة، هي متطلب لازم انت تقدمه عشان تقدر تقدم للجامعة، انه ليش انت اخترت الجامعة؟ ليش اخترت هذا التخصص؟ ايش حابب تعمل في المستقبل؟ بينما البروبوزل هذا اللي انت بتقدمه في الجامعة، يعني انت اللي بيكون مثلا اذا عندك بحث ولا شيء انت درست عليه او بروجكت معين انت بتكون عملته، فهذا الفرق بيناتهم. طبعا الستيتمنت اوف بيربس هي طبعا اكيد يعني مهمه لانه الواحد يقدم عليها في الجامعه. شهاده الخبره مهمه، طبعا اللي ما عنده خبره عمل احنا مش حاكين انه لازم يقدم شهاده خبره، فاذا ما عندك شهاده خبره وانت متخرج من بكالوريوس ومقدم على ماستر اكيد يعني ما مش هنتوقع انه يكون في عندك خبرات، فعادي اتس فاين. Salma is asking about if she can apply for master and she has no published يعني
Yes,
research. That's fine.
as we spoke about in the presentation, for those of you who are bachelor students who are applying for MS, we understand that you might not have as much experience. So really, instead of focusing on the publications, if you're a bachelor student, focus on internships, summer programs that you participated in, any type of enrichment programs, your senior project, your senior thesis. Those are things that you're going to want to focus more on, to where if you are applying for a PhD, then yes, you might have more research time, more lab time, and more publications that you'll be able to list.
One of these students is asking about the format of statement of purpose.
Yes, so the statement of purpose, we actually had that presentation on Monday, so we won't get too into it, Ahmed, but if you have more questions, you can call us and we can review it with you. However, the statement of purpose, you are going to want it to be in essay format, so you're going to want to have probably about 5 paragraphs where you have an introduction, you talk about your passion for the field you're applying for, then you talk about some of the experiences you've had, and then the goals that you would like to accomplish while at KAUST. And it's great if you go online to the KAUST website to kind of do a little bit of homework before you write your statement of purpose. Also make sure that you remember that it's an essay, so it should be 12 font Times Roman. It should be about 750 words, maximum 2 pages, not a lot, okay? And that you really focus on kind of the same things as the CE, spelling, punctuation, correct grammar, and again, ask someone to proofread it for you, but call us tomorrow or email us and we'd be happy to go over the statement of purpose with you more.
Yes. فاطمة عم تسأل عن سبب الدراسة، إنها هي بدها تكتب بس عشان أحصل ماجستير وبكالوريوس. طيب ليش ما تكتبي أشياء أكثر يعني فاطمة؟ ليش ما تذكري مثلا طب أنت بعد الماجستير والبكالوريوس إيش رح تعملي؟ إيش هي طموحك؟ يعني إحنا لما نيجي نكون مثلا زي هيك إنه أنا بس عشان بدي أكمل ماجستير ودكتوراه، طب أوكي وبعدين إيش الريسيرش اللي أنت حابة تقدمي عليه؟ فهذا الإشي رح يجذب نظر الفاكولتي، ما نذكر أشياء مثلا بسيطة عشان تبين إنه إحنا بس هيك عادي، لا خلينا نكون مهتمين وحابين إنه نطلع لطموحنا في المستقبل إيش هو. Hajar is asking about the PhD study if there's required an experience. So we answered that.
Yeah, we answered that. So again, PhD, we want to know what publications you've had, what research time, what lab experience. If you are currently with an employer, what are you doing with your employer? Are you doing research for them? Are you working on a project that has to do with your field of study? Remember, a CV, we want to highlight ourselves to the best that we can, and we want to list things that are relevant and that will showcase our skill sets. So when our faculty is reviewing your CV, they say, okay, they've done this much in the lab, they've done this much with publications. Right now they're working for, you know, a company that they're focusing on this. So make sure that you highlight all of those different areas. And again, yes, if you are a bachelor student applying to MS, you will not be able to highlight as many things, we understand. If you are a student applying for PhD, you're going to have a lot more to highlight. So make sure you highlight the most important things first.
التقديم عن طريق الجوال لا، يعني واحد بده يقدم للجامعة فاطمة، يعني it makes sense إنه يدخل عن طريق الويب سايت عن طريق اللابتوب، لأنه أنت بدك تعملي أبلود للدوكيومنتس تبعتك، فمش رح تقدري تعمليها أبلود عن طريق الجوال. فلازم يكون في عندك لابتوب، تكوني فاتحة الويب سايت، تكوني مجهزة أوراقك، المتطلبات كلياتها كاملة، وتعملي لها أبلود وتسوي المعلومات كاملة. فأكيد يعني لازم يكون عن طريق اللابتوب. اللي سألت عن الأوراق المطلوبة لابد أن تكون كاملة عند إرسالها. الأوراق يعني هلا بالنسبة للأوراق المطلوبة لازم تكون اللي هي مثلا السيرة الذاتية الستيتمنت أوف بيربس جاهزة. بالنسبة لكشف الدرجات إذا كان لساته مش جاهز يا مج عادي، أنت هلا قدمي اللي موجود عندك، وأصلا أوريدي بالسي في أنت حتكوني كاتبة متى تخرج، فإحنا حنكون عارفين إنه هذا مش الفاينل ترانسكريبت. فونس إنك تحصلي الفاينل ترانسكريبت you can send it to us by email. Can we have this meeting by email also the last one? عبد الله لا ما بنقدر. We can't do that, but if you have any question as we mentioned you can email us. We are happy to answer any question related to today's webinar or the previous one.
And if you have questions but you don't want to email, because I know sometimes you might think, I have many questions, I just want to talk to someone.
Call us.
You have the
Yeah.
phone number. Please
Yeah.
call us. There is a team of us. We're here all the time, 8 to 5, and we can talk to you about your CV. We can talk to you about your statement of purpose and help you get those documents squared away if you have any issues or questions.
اذا عملتي سبميت للابلكيشن تبعك يا فاطمه وانت عامله كل هدول الدوكيومنت، اذا كان لسه الابلكيشن تبعك مش متحول للفاكولتي بيكون في عندك مجال انك تعدي عليها. فتابعينا على اتصلي علينا بكره او ابعثي لنا ايميل عشان نقدر نجاوب عليكي. سلطانه عم تسال when will we get the email for the first interview to be prepared.
So everyone's on a different timeline. So it just depends when you applied, when you submitted your application, and then the admissions department will review your application. Remember at the beginning of this presentation, we talked about the admissions process. So once you complete your application, all of the documents are submitted, then the faculty will review your application.
Yes.
If approved, then you will be invited to the academic interview, which is the first step. So your application must be approved before you be invited to the first interview. And you can email us and we can let you know where you're at in that stage. But again, email us, please, or call us.
Okay. I did write my CV about my education presentations, research, and my training courses. Is it enough?
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
If that's what you have to highlight, then highlight yourself.
Exactly.
But make sure that you're pulling out the best bits of all of those items, okay? Because again, we want the best, most important aspects of all of those.
Okay. So أتوقع إنه جاوبنا على معظم الأسئلة. We do answer the most questions that we have. If you have any questions later, you can email us زي ما حكينا لكم أو اتصلوا علينا على التليفون. بدنا نرجع نذكركم إنه بليز حاولوا إنكم تخلصوا الابلكيشن تبعكم قبل نوفمبر 15. اتليست لو حطينا الدوكيومنتس المطلوبة وبعدين رجعنا عدلنا وعملنا سبميت وبعدين رجعنا عدلنا، وهذا بيكون أهم يعني من إنك أنت تستنى لبعد نوفمبر. شكرا لكم جميعا وإن شاء الله نكون فدناكم بهذه المحاضرة.
Thank you for joining us and we'll see you next time.